Hugh Daly is giving us a perspective of the entrepreneur. Now, Hugh is a farmer's son from Crossmaglen. He left school at 16 with 1 GCSE and a future that he'd be the first to admit wasn't very bright. Now, this is a society, of course, that believes that a person with no firm educational background will end up on the scrap heap, but Hugh was determined to prove that not the case. He battled against it and has come out on top. He has to overcome, among everything else, the hurdle of dyslexia, but he has started and developed a number of successful businesses and has built up a substantial international property portfolio. Hugh's shown a keen eye to spot opportunities, and he wants to put across the message that these possibilities are available to everyone. Hugh.
Hello everybody. I'll just put a stopwatch going here so as I know I'm not going to keep you all day. So first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name's Hugh Daly, and I have no books and I have no CDs. So feel free to ask no questions whatsoever. All right. As Noel said, I'm a farmer's son from Crossmaglen, and at the age of 11, or around that sort of age, to the great surprise of my primary school teachers, I passed the 11 plus. So, of course, my father thought that I was going to be the child prodigy that he always dreamt of, and sent me off to a grammar school. So after 5 years hard graft in a grammar school and getting many beatings from, I didn't get priests, it was Christian brothers I got to beat me. And so after 5 years of hard graft, I managed to leave there with 1 GCSE. I got the 1 GCSE in Irish because the Irish teacher said that he would come to the house and visit me for a different interview when I was finished if I failed the exam. So I realised I better do it, you know. So I went and I started to work in a YTP scheme, and started my time as a plant mechanic. And my father still thought that there was some hope that he would get me back to school. So he just tortured me that much. I said, right, I'll take a look at it. So I went down to Armagh Tech, and it was then that some of the teachers down there realised that I was dyslexic. So it meant, it made me feel better right from the start there, because it meant that I wasn't the idiot that I thought I was, and that people had told me I was. All my life. Kids today, you spend the first 3 years of their life teaching them how to walk and teaching them how to talk, and as soon as they master it, you tell them to shut up and sit down. So, I was told to shut up and sit down for a large part of my life. And my father's a bigger man than me, so you listen to what he says, do you know what I mean? So, my entrepreneurial journey started when I would have been reasonably young, maybe 8 or 9. Myself and my older brother decided we were going to buy a pig. So, now, a lot of my stories are agriculturally based, so you're just going to have to bear with me here. So, we were going to buy a pig, and the pig was ready. I was pregnant. I was ready to give birth, and we were going to have pigs to keep and pigs to sell and pigs to breed, and we were going to build a whole empire from this one pig. So it's a long, drawn-out process, and so we stayed up all night the first night, and most of the night the second night, and we fell asleep on the third night, and the pig gave birth, rolled over on half of them, and ate the other half. So, so the lesson I learned from that is, you need to be there when your business is going on, or the pig will eat half of it. So, having learned a valuable business lesson that you would keep for the rest of your life, we decided that pigs were much too temperamental. We'd go into the calf business. So I bought a calf. I wanted to go on my own. I didn't want the frustrations of keeping my older brother in it as well. So during the summer, I went out and I fed and I looked after this calf, and I really went to the extremes of brushing his hair and all this type of stuff. And I came out one morning and my father was looking very sort of annoyed, and I asked him what was wrong, and he says, well, your calf's dead. So I went down, and the calf had got what's known as grass fever, and it had blown up like a barrel and died during the night. So I was distraught over this, and my father gave me the really cruelest news. He says, well, it's your calf, you have to bury him. So I had to take him out and I had to bury him. So the second valuable lesson I learned from that is that even though you keep a close eye on your business, things can sometimes go wrong. So that's the story. So I like everybody else, when I went back to school, and I left college, and I was standing in a bar, and I heard guys talking about a company called PowerScreen, that they needed salesmen. So I really didn't want to go and start working in labs or that type of stuff, so I said, right, I'll do that. And I went and worked in PowerScreen for a while, and then worked through different quarrying and software industries here. And what I realized in the employers that I had was that the vast majority of these people weren't born into money, or they weren't born into these businesses. The ones that I saw, I know that's not always the case, but the ones that I saw, people had a determination to start from scratch and to build something. And they built it, they employed me, and I was the opposite end of the scale. I did enough work so as my employers didn't sack me, and they paid me just about enough money so as I didn't leave. That was the equilibrium there was there. But it took me a long time to realize, well, hold on a minute, these people have no difference. There's no physical difference. I know probably the majority of them aren't blessed with red hair when I used to have hair, but they just have a drive to go and succeed in whatever is their chosen vocation. The statistics show 73% of the population of the north of Ireland are either directly or indirectly supported by the government. That's either on one scale on the dole or working in a government job. 73%. So, what does that tell you? People say, oh, well, maybe that's the way it is. That's just the way it has to be. What it tells me is that all the private industry in the north of Ireland is being handled by 27% of the people. So, are those 27% of the people the elite? Are they the smartest, the prettiest, the richest? Any of these things? They're not. They're the people who have a wee bit more drive than the rest. Okay, so what do? Do we let those statistics just roll over us and become a part of the 73%, or do we get out there and start taking a piece of the pie for me? I went for the me option. Probably slightly on the greedy side. There's a guy told me one time, 95% of the wealth of the world is owned by 5% of the people. And if it was all taken back in, it was all gathered into one big pot, and it went around and everybody got an equal share, in 2 years' time, 95% of the world's wealth would be owned by 5% of the population. It's the drive. It's the people that demand more of their average lives. And I'm sure, as you know by the look of me, I'm not someone who goes around and reads poetry all the time, but I have examples. Someone else's words explains it better than mine. So, people, unfortunately, are lazy. I'm bone-eyed lazy. A guy told me I was in the States at one stage, he said, I like work that much I could lie down and sleep beside it. So I could sleep beside it every day, but as long as I'm there, I know the pig's not going to roll over. Opportunities are there for us every day. I get involved in several diverse things, everything from ladies' gyms to bagel shops. So sometimes people laugh at that I'm trying to get them fit on this side and I'm fattening them up on this side. So the opportunities are there because people need it. Unfortunately, and the reason why the majority of people don't see it, is that these opportunities are disguised in workers' clothes. You have to take the opportunity that's there, you have to roll up your sleeves and go and actually do it. So the majority of people I know, and the people that I get up every morning and I have a physical choice to make. Now, it's not a physical decision, but I make a choice for myself. I'm going to spend today in good form, or I'm going to spend it in bad form. So every morning I pick good form. Because, as Andrew said, you know, there's the different obstacles that you come past. That's the obstacles there. The different obstacles you can pass on a daily basis are going to try and knock you down a bit. But if you get out of your bed and you start your day on a high spirit, then you're always going to do all right. But the majority of people that I know and I meet on a daily basis, what's the normal thing? You're all for majority from Northern Ireland. You go up and you ask somebody, hello, how are you doing? How are you getting on today? Not too bad. I'm alright. Another short will do me.